I don't know why, but birthdays really get under my skin. I don't know what it is. I think they're overrated. Keep asking, what are we celebrating birthdays for? What do you think, Dave?
Tradition at this point, I don't know, to keep the paper plate business and afloat. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. I get
Keep the
birthday
Hallmark
blues every year.
card factory open. Keep the Americans employed, making greeting cards for Uncle Steve's birthday. I couldn't find any good clarification. I looked up the history of birthdays. So Egypt, the pharaohs are like, I'm becoming a god. We got to celebrate it. Bastards. So I have no interest in celebrating a pharaoh becoming a god. So right off the bat, I'm out. Then jump over to Rome. They're lighting candles. And then Greece is like, we like your candles. Let's add a little cake. All right. My brother's like letting me know that there's like a massacre happened on my birthday. I'm like, oh, that's good news. That's nice to hear, you know. And then I go, it sounds a little overrated. And he thought I was talking about the massacre. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, not the massacre. Like, I'm sorry all those people died. But I was talking about my birthday. Man. I was like, I don't know. I mean, like,
I bet it feels extra not special when it's overshadowed by a historical event like that. So,
well, I mean, like, well, I don't get it. I mean, I guess there's got to be like exceptions to the rule. Like, let's say you have your sick kid, so every birthday is like one more year that the kid is around. Like, or like, you know, the grandparent has dementia, so they have like a birthday like every day. You know what I mean? So, what's valuable and what's not? But it's like, for me, it's like I analyze the whole year. Like, okay, all these left turns led to these decisions. What did I do for the year? Not like, I don't know. It's not enough just to celebrate being here for another year. Like, somebody asked me, what are you going to do on your birthday? And it's like days away. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen.
Just get up and go to work or do whatever you got to do. I mean, that's kind of how I am with birthdays these days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of subscribe to the philosophy of you really, like, after a certain age, you only get a birthday every 10 years. That's it. You get rewarded for a decade pass, not a year.
I like it.
I mean, I'm more than happy to say, like, happy birthday to other people. Like, I know, like, a few months ago, Jordan had a birthday.
Yeah.
And it's happy for you, Jordan. Like, but it's like, I don't like,
it falls under Dave's rule. It was the dirty 30s.
You get these things and you're just like, oh, God. People give you gift cards or people talk to you. No, I'm not dead. Thanks for talking to me once a year on Facebook.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but I think most of my friends have like figured this out, and family, because like I actually pulled like a Larry David and like I got people to stop giving me positive messages on my birthday. Like I don't get the inbox anymore, you know, flooded, and like people don't even post on my wall. I think I actually I think I've restricted people posting on my wall. I think I have to review everything, so they couldn't get those birthday messages through even if they wanted to. But they have stopped like bringing up like happy birthday and like in casual conversation. I'll snap into it. Like I'll go right into my thing about like, well, you know, in Egypt, you know, like,
did you know?
Do you think you're a god? Are you a god? Like
I'm just trying to wish you a happy birthday, dude.
yeah. Just like lose it. Just fucking lose it. All right.
You had to make an effort to do that. Like I feel like that happened to me naturally.
Jordan, you know, if somebody asks you if you're a god, your answer is always yes.
Okay, yeah.
Well, Ghostbusters taught us that.
Okay.
So don't get your ass kicked by a supernatural entity. Like if anybody ever asks you,
if you're a god, you say yes. Okay, of course.
Yeah, barbecue talk, standing in a line at a theme park. Like anybody ever asks you, David, you just say yes. I am a god. Well,
if I ever get directly asked that question, I will definitely say yes.
Although the one time I think it's appropriate to say that you are a god is when you're on the rooftop jumping into a pool, like in that movie Almost Famous.
It's in a couple movies.
That's what I should do on my birthday. I should climb a roof and jump into somebody's pool that I don't even know and just start screaming, I'm a golden god at the top of my lungs. Get on front page. Why not? Suburbs of Boston, they're too boring. All you hear about is the Celtics, the Bruins, the clam chowder, and the racism. Let's put something else on the front page of the Boston Globe. Oh, and the child abuse. I forgot about that. You see that movie with Michael Keaton? He plays a journalist. Why do they keep moving priests around from different churches?
Do you realize how many, you just made me remember something. Like, there's a lot of movies about child abuse in Boston. There's Gone Baby Gone. There's Spotlight, which you just mentioned. Like, what's the correlation?
Interesting.
What's going on in Beantown? I don't know.
Does it have to do with like the correlation to a Dunkies or something?
Oh, that's what was in this card, actually. The thing that I showed you guys. It was a gift card to go to Dunkin' Donuts and get that coffee. That doesn't sound like Boston, actually. That sounds more like... I don't know what it sounds like. I watched too many episodes of The Bear. Maybe it's more Chicago.
That sounded like a Chicago accent.
Yeah, I think I'm more inclined. Yeah, I think I can get the Midwest. I can't get the... Although someone said they listened to our podcast and thought I was from Boston. I was like, when did that happen? Like, what episode is that? I want to go back and listen to it because I don't think so.
I realized last week how much I say ope.
You say
not,
ope?
Yeah, but I don't, hopefully I've not said it like, not recognizing it on, like, I obviously just said it purposefully, but I'm like, I do not live somewhere where they adopt ope. But it's a thing for me.
Do you know who Roy Scheider is?
No.
Okay, darn it. The dad from Jaws. Like, that's probably his most famous movie. So did you hear, like, a few years ago, like, they reanimated Star Wars and they brought, like, a character back who was technically dead in real life? What's that actor's name, David? Vincent Price?
No, not but somebody like him.
Peter Cushing.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, so Peter Cushing's in the original Star Wars. He plays the general whose name is Grand Moff Tarkin. And then they made that Star Wars prequel movie. What was that?
Episode 9, Force Awakens?
No, it's the one that's
the
called
prequels. No, excuse me. Was it Revenge of the Sith that he was in?
No, it's the one where they're building the planet. It's the one that's like not conical. Well, it is conical now. It's called A Star Wars Story. What is that? What is that one called?
Was it Rogue One?
Yeah, Rogue One. There we go. Anyway, which is like, it's the best one, and it's not any of the regular ones. Anyway, they brought his character back, but they like animated him, right? So they have like an actor, and it's like the new thing that they're doing. You know how like they're de-aging actors to make them look younger, so they're just like painting a younger face on their faces, which is like in The Irishman or whatever on Robert De Niro, like his body still moves like he's 70, but his face is like this Botox crop mask, and you're just like, it's pretty scary actually, because like he's got very like, appropriate moves for like a 70-year-old, but then he's got the young face. Anyway, they used it to, this is like when they first started doing this, and they did it in Star Wars, but so this is a long way to explain that Roy Scheider has a movie coming out.
I'm like, where are we going with this? Okay.
Is there a point coming up 10 minutes later? Yeah, there is. Roy Scheider has a movie that never got released because he died, and then apparently they're going to use a similar technique so they can bring this movie out. And it's kind of cool. It's like he's like a detective on a Nazi hunt. Like he like tracks down the people that killed his family or something, and he's and he does good in these movies. Like he wasn't he also in he's in a lot of classic movies. I don't know. He's a good actor. Anyway, that's all I was going to say. They're going to use CGI so they can release this movie. Wow. This is the kind of shit I give Dave for. Just like, get to the point, David. And then old school 80s actor, and he's kind of a convention star, reality star. Wrote a book called Buseyisms, where he like uses acronyms in everyday life. But I mean, Gary Busey busted his head wide open in a tragic like motorcycle accident that almost killed him, and they sewed him back together, and he's been a nutbag ever since. And like, I mean, I remember him playing the villain in Predator 2, playing the villain in Lethal Weapon. Those are like big iconic roles. He was in one of the seasons of what's that Trump show that everybody loved forever, The Celebrity Apprentice?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he was in one of the Celebrity Apprentices, which was kind of cool because he actually got into a fight with Meatloaf. That was exciting.
Surprised you didn't mention your big favorite of his.
I did. What is my big favorite of his?
You didn't mention Silver Bullet.
Oh yeah, and he's Uncle Red in a werewolf movie called Silver Bullet. which didn't make our werewolf movie list this year because
it was too jam packed.
It was too jam packed.
Long
you gotta have something to look forward to.
Yeah. We'll get to it. I mean, it's just such a good movie. We talk about it all the time. It's like it doesn't have an episode to itself, but I feel like we talk about it. It comes up all the time. Anyway, well, he's ruined his catalog. You know, he almost won an Oscar for Buddy Holly, the Buddy Holly movie. Supposedly, word on the street is he has a second personality whose name is Eddie Jack or Teddy Eddie Jack or something like that. And like Gary Busey's like credited on like 9 rock albums under this pseudonym of Eddie Jack or Teddy Jack Eddie or whatever. And like they talk about it being like an alternate personality that's even more insane than Busey. But I'm like, what is happening? Anyway, so he's in New Jersey at like a convention, monster convention or something, signing autographs, and then like he gets busted for like 3 counts of sexual assault or something. Like it's pretty. I mean, there's no details, but just like they're saying that's what it is. Then he goes home to California, and then like he's taking his pants off at a park bench. I'm like, okay, so we're just like slipping into full dementia at this point. You know what I mean? Like this is like it's tragic because like I'm like, who's at the steering wheel? You know, or did he like his last marble just finally roll away?
You said he had a bad bike accident or something and split his head open?
Yeah. So like 35. Actually, his bike accident's almost as old as we are, David. It's like at least 30 years ago. Like he was like on a motorcycle and maybe he wasn't wearing a helmet because his brain. I mean, like his whole skull was like peeled like a cantaloupe or something. It's just like one of those like you look at the bike and go, did he walk away from that? You know what I mean? Like he went to surgery and then had like, you know, I don't know.
I wonder if you could look at his performances pre-accident and post-accident and see if like there's a difference.
There's like a decline.
There's a major difference for sure.
That's what I was hinting at with the bike accident. I mean, yeah, I'm sure time has not been kind to that either.
You know, I have like a weird connection to Gary Busey, right? I don't know if I told you this, but when we were in college, he had a TV show on Comedy Central called I'm With Busey, and me and like 3 other people were in like a scene in that show.
Oh, but they shot that in the culinary side of the school, right? Like, because our school had like.
No, this was at some other place. It was just like they were posting for people to like come and be part of it. And we were like,
there was also a cooking show he was doing, like Cooking with Busey or Cooking. With
that was something completely
Gary
separate
or something.
Then.
Oh, that was shot at our school too.
Oh, was it? See, yeah.
He just did Judge Busey or whatever, where he was like,
Pet Judge. I've been meaning to watch that.
He was also on a biker show where some guys tried to join Hell's Angels, and there's like a Gary Busey episode, and they're like, "We got warrants for you, Gary. We're taking you in." I don't know what he was busted for at that time. Dude, I don't know what to say except for like he has mental health issues because of his accident, but
he's been known to be an odd duck for
a
while though. Like, you know, this isn't like, I mean, this is new in terms of like the serious allegations, but like,
I don't know. Have you ever seen him the way he explains his actions later after the fact? Because he got in trouble on Celebrity Apprentice too, and he always describes it like he's describing like a child version of himself, right? So how much is cognitive responsibility and how much is he's like just a complete whack job?
Well, he clearly doesn't have anybody in his corner because somebody should have like got him help a long time ago if there's a serious issue.
Yeah, I just feel like he has to be monitored, and I just feel like for whatever that reason, they're just like, oh shit, we forgot to watch Gary today. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, where's Gary? He got away from us at the buffet. You know?
Think of like little leash babies. Get them a turtle backpack and a leash.
That's what he needs.
Somebody was late to their shift to watch him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So who knows how it's going to be, but it's just like one of those things you hear about one of your old heroes turning out to be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, that's
a letdown.
It's big letdown. Big what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
but again, how not that I'm excused because I'm not excusing any of his actions, but again, if he truly has mental health issues, which, I mean, here's the problem is like for a long time when people are rich and they do crazy things, you think, oh, they're eccentric, but like in reality, like, do we properly give this its due? Do we maybe look into this a little more? Like, it feels like I don't know.
Affluence.
Exactly.
Yep. Don't
Some
know right
things
from
get looked
wrong.
over because of the power or the how much money somebody has or fame. I don't know.
It'd be like that.
I feel like his fame has waned and he doesn't have a lot of money.
Yeah, probably.
Hence how fast it hit the news. I don't know.
I hope he gets help one way or the other. I don't know.
Jordan, do you know Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yes, of course.
Oh, good.
It's a
So you
classic.
saw Ferris Bueller take a day off. Okay.
I did.
Good. So we don't have to ask you to take a day off the podcast for not having seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I
Or
think
to
that would
watch
be
it.
the moment when I'd get fired.
That's the moment. Yeah, it's
Yep.
Ferris Bueller credit. Exactly. It's Dirty Dancing, Roadhouse, Ferris Bueller. If it comes up in conversation and you say the wrong thing, that's the end of it. They're making a sequel, which is a little difficult because these actors are also now 60 years older than when they played the parts. There's two bit characters in the movie whose names are Sam and Victor. So they want to do Sam and Victor's Day Off. In the movie, if you remember, they dropped the convertible off from the Cameron character at a parking garage for the day or whatever.
Right.
And those guys, there's a couple scenes where we see them, they've stolen the car for a joyride. So this movie's like, what happens during that joyride? Good idea. It's a good story. It could be a good movie, but I mean, there was a couple character actors that played those parts, that would crop up in these John Hughes movies, but I mean, they're old dudes now. So what we're talking about
We'll
recasting.
just use the Irishman technology. We'll just de-age.
Yeah. This comedy's gonna spend the amount of money that all these big Netflix dramas spend to de-age actors. They're like,
you know what? Damn it! It's Ferris Bueller. It deserves it.
We only have the budget for 2 scenes, so we're only shooting in the parking garage. Why? Well, we had to spend all the money to de-age the actors. Holy
Either that,
shit.
or there's a lot of behind the head shots.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's from the creators of Cobra Kai. So, who are making money going like, oh, we're just gonna readapt things from the 80s, and that they found their bread and butter. They know what they're doing, I guess. Also, speaking about the 80s, people have been waiting for a sequel to Killer Clowns from Outer Space. They're not getting one, but the Chioda brothers announced that a video game based on Killer Clowns from Outer Space horror movie is going to be dropping next year. And there's a short film actually that was made for the Halloween Horror Days at Universal Studios or whatever. The clowns are always there every year, but this year they dropped a short film that takes place at a gas station, and one of the clowns shows up. It's interesting.
Yeah, the game looks like a lot of fun. I watched the trailer for it. It's funny. I guess I'm known as a gamer, and I feel like a Harley game. But
crack open a cold.
Yeah, but you played the Friday the 13th video game.
It's the
Yeah.
Binge-Watchers podcast.
But yeah, I did. That was a fun game.
I think if I don't stop, it'll keep playing.
I like your
what?
dance moves, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really good at chair dancing.
So he thinks nobody can see him. Well, I obviously, if you're listening, you can't see that Dave's dancing behind the logo. If you watched it, you could see that he was trying to dance behind the logo. Trying to hide. Tonight's movie, Superman 3. A lovable loser named Gus Gorman tries to improve his luck with computers. He gets mixed up with a corporate goon, and their scheme accidentally splits Superman into 2. One good, one bad. It's actually really like a Richard Pryor movie that features Superman. We'll get deeper into that. Dave, you want to hit us with those dangerous facts?
Yeah, let's see what we got here.
That you're playing close to the chest, not sharing, because you don't want to get teased.
I'm just straight up reading some facts.
No rebuttals.
Here. These are facts about the movie that we've watched. So by this point, Superman movies were becoming so... Actually, I put this fact specifically for John. You'll know why in a second, or at least John will. Superman movies were becoming so expensive that the producers, of all kinds, approached producer Dino De Laurentiis to take over the franchise. Over the franchise, but unfortunately,
trivia: Dino De Laurentiis is one of the greatest producers, living or dead, of all time.
Yeah, I knew John would appreciate that particular fact. I had to sweeten the pot there. Actress Annette Toole, who played Lana Lane, has more than one connection to Superman, as she also played Clark's mother in the TV show Smallville. So she got a double bite at the apple of Superman. So if you're watching this movie like I did fresh, not having seen it, you're wondering why Lois Lane is hardly a part of it. Well, it turns out that actress Margot Kidder had expressed her disgust about director of the first movie, Richard Donner, being fired from number 2. And she said this to the producers of the movie. And then, this movie, she had 12 lines and that was it. So you do the math.
4 scenes.
Yeah, she had like 4 scenes and that's it. 1 day's work. Also not happy with Richard Donner being fired. Christopher Reeve threatened not to come back to this movie. And since the movie was already in pre-production, the producers were scrambling to find somebody to replace and get a new Superman. They approached John Travolta, Jeff Bridges, and Kurt Russell to play Superman. However, believe it or not, Tony Danza was actually cast before Reeves jumped back into the role. So we almost got a Superman 3 with Tony Danza, of all people, or, the boss from Who's the Boss, or no. No, he wasn't the boss. Angela was the boss.
Yeah, I would think casting somebody in your iconic role would get you coming right back to the poker table. You know what I mean? I think he called their bluff.
Yeah.
If you're Reeve, it's like, oh shit, I can't let that happen. Who's the boss in a Superman movie? No. No way. Hey.
Exactly. Or John Travolta, for that matter. Could you imagine? I mean, John Travolta's a good actor, but Superman? I don't know.
The dance scenes would have been better.
That's
been dancing at the high school reunion in this movie. But, however, okay, do I think that they dissed Margot Kidder as Lois Lane and like that stuff behind the scenes is kind of fucked up? Yeah, that's screwed up. However, we wouldn't get to Annette O'Toole, and because she's awesome.
I would agree. I prefer. Not, I mean, it has more to do with Margot Kidder than anything else. I'm more of an Annette O'Toole fan. Bring on more movies with her.
Not that I want to preach about other podcasts, but the guy who played Lex Luthor in Smallville has a podcast. Michael Rosenbaum. It's called Inside of You. He interviews Annette O'Toole, and there's a clip from that I was watching on YouTube where she talks about like Christopher Reeve actually like embodied Superman in such a way that like when he came on set as Superman, she said it felt like witnessing an out-of-body experience. Like that it was like because she had known Christopher Reeve from like theater and like some other stuff that we worked on, but then like there was definitely a shift. And she talks about, from her understanding, is like that he was the best one to embody, Superman.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard nothing but solid things about Christopher Reeve. Like you can't find anybody saying a bad thing about the guy. So it must have been the real deal. The last fact I'll leave you with is actually a connection to one of my favorite movies. So the movie Office Space makes multiple mentions of ripping off the ripping off scheme from Superman 3, where they put half a cent from transactions into a special account. In fact, I think like multiple times they're trying to explain that they're like, like from Superman 3. So clearly Mike Judge was a big fan of this movie.
Gus goes to computer training and he's like a computer savant. Like he takes to it, right? Like a fish to water. He's like really good at the computer stuff. I love that it's old school computer shit, like MS-DOS, like Tandy, like first IBM we've ever seen. They got the big like microprocessors in the back with the film reels rolling or whatever to take the microfilm or whatever that used to store the data. The dot matrix printers like.
Well, what kills me is how overcomplicated they make computers look, and also how simple they make them seem. Like, hey, you've got money, like let's make this supercomputer, and then we'll control the world. Like it's just that simple.
Well, it becomes a comic book movie when they're like the one satellite that can blast lasers, and all the oil rigs in the world can be hacked into at the same time. They're all on separate closed systems, that you couldn't get. Anyway, that's where it gets a little comic booky, but whatever.
Well, it is a comic book movie, so
yeah.
This is true. This is true.
Technically true.
So I guess shoot it to you, Jordan. What are your favorite bits?
Let's see.
No, back it up, David. You gotta get some messages.
I'm always the one who jumps the gun, so
Yeah.
thank you, David.
We'll get back to the podcast, but Dave has some messages he's got to deliver. Go ahead, Dave. No, just kidding.
Like, wait, what? I read the notes.
Yeah. So there's a podcast out there called In the Wild. It's about true and gripping tales of survival tragedy, and triumph from the depths of the wild. It's available wherever you get your podcast. It seems pretty interesting. It plays out like a Survivor nature documentary type, like Discovery show. So I'm adding it to my playlist that's on Apple Podcasts. Everybody take a look at it. In the Wild from Narrative FM. Let's see what else is going on. Haha. Paramount Plus just kicked off Orphan First Kill. Esther is never in what she seems. See how her story began in Orphan First Kill. Orphan? Sounds like I'm trying to say like platypus. Let me back up. Okay. See how her story begins in Orphan First Kill, the thrilling prequel to the shocking horror hit Orphan. After orchestrating a brilliant escape from an Estonian psychiatric facility, Esther travels to America by impersonating the missing daughter of a wealthy family. However, an unexpected twist arises that pits her against a mother who will protect her family from the murderous child at any cost. Stream Orphan First Kill now on Paramount Plus. Try it for free with our affiliate link in the podcast notes or on our website. You'll see it there. Dave, you watched this movie.
Yes, I'm going to say go for that free trial and
then
binge
quit.
now. No, I enjoyed it. I actually did.
Cancel your subscription. Actually, no, you should keep it because Beavis and Butthead are on there.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Look, watch binge now, Orphan Kill, or First Kill. Then watch an episode of Beavis and Butthead to like wash the scariness away.
Oh, yeah.
That's my suggestion.
All right, I got to know the next message. It's the most important. Also from our friends at Paramount. You can see Top Gun Maverick in theaters and bring it home now on digital. Tom Cruise stars in this spectacular, action-packed epic, which critics are calling one of the greatest movies ever made. Buy Top Gun Maverick on digital now and dive into 110 minutes of incredible behind-the-scenes bonus content. Available at participating retailers, rated PG-13 from Paramount Pictures, of course. And also, a little birdie told me we're going to give away like 5 copies of this movie. They're hot, they're fresh, they're burning a hole in my pocket with these digital codes. I don't know how that's possible. They're not in my spam box and email. Dave wants to use them for himself, but if you can get us those subs, those comments, and those reviews that Jordan's always talking about, because what, Jordan?
We like to review, help this man out, and go like or comment or say something nice about the pod, and you can get a sick movie. So go review.
And then you didn't tell me about the ending, Dave. And now we're gonna have to have a sideline conversation about the end of this movie.
The end of Superman?
Because I don't think you spoiled the end of Superman.
Top Gun.
No, Top Gun.
Of Orphan?
No, you didn't warn me about Top Gun 2, all the feels. Or we'll talk about it
I
later.
haven't seen it.
Oh,
I thought you watched Top Gun 2.
No.
Which one of us watched Top Gun 2 already?
wasn't me.
Holy crap, I thought you guys already watched this before I did.
No, I haven't seen
All
it.
right.
I've been...
It looks like there's only going to be 2 codes available because my co-hosts are going to snag some of those codes.
so
watch
we
Top
can
Gun
cry. Oh, no.
I'm not crying, you're crying. It's raining out here. Like a Flight of the Conchords song.
No, let's go play volleyball.
I was hoping for another shirtless volleyball scene, but you
It's
said
there.
the feels. So
It's there.
you have
Miles
me
Teller
hooked
talks
now.
about how much time that they devoted to getting the volleyball scene done correctly. A lot of time, days apparently. Now back to the podcast in progress. We've talked about a bunch of things. Paramount Plus for Orphan 2, Beavis and Butthead, Top Gun Maverick. Spent a lot of time talking about Gary Busey's problems. We finally arrived at David's favorite part of the show when Jordan tells us her favorite bits.
My favorite bits. Okay. There was honestly a lot. I loved the humor. I thought like the first intro scene, which definitely takes a while, is just so hilarious because one mistake leads into another, and it's this whole like domino effect of like, introducing Superman to come help out this scene. So I thought that was hilarious. And
Talking about the opening,
Yes.
It's like a Rube Goldberg machine, like things just topple over. Yeah.
Oh, that's a perfect way to put it, right? I think of like exactly that. Like one marble sets off this whole catalyst of things. But I thought Annette O'Toole was excellent. Loved her acting. She kind of gave me a little bit of like these Judy Garland vibes of just like being kind of, I don't know, almost like
Just being a country peach.
Just
chewing up the
country peach.
scenery.
Yeah, I thought she was excellent. And so I could see like with what you said, Dave, is like, like I guess their chemistry. I thought yeah, lots of goofy stuff in it. Definitely was making me crack up a bunch. The effects were hilarious, like the frozen lake. So lots of things to enjoy about the movie. What about you, Dave?
It's funny you mentioned the special effects because it feels like I've seen the first two movies, and I don't know, it feels like the special effects in this movie weren't bad, but it feels like they cut a few million off the budget. I felt like I definitely noticed the blue screen in this movie, but
you noticed? How did you notice? I thought the way Superman flies looks like a real dude flying.
Oh, that was my
and when he's
favorite
fighting
one.
himself, that's done pretty well too.
I don't know, man. It stuck out. Maybe it was just the HD display, but like the guy, the Leaning Tower of Pizza scene. I mean, wow,
Those
shocked
were
they
mine.
didn't shoot it in Italy, but it just that like stood out to me.
Pisa.
Pisa, thank you.
You called it pizza. That's from the Goofy movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Oh,
a Leaning Tower of Pizza. Yeah. And I'm not saying
See
that
how
that
much
it looked
influence
terrible.
movies have on our lives, Jordan?
it's
We
crazy.
forget the names of actual monuments and
Let's-
replace it with what we've been told. in
Or
the
let's
movies.
do an
By
episode on a
Disney
Goofy
movies.
movie. Yeah.
Voiced
Oof.
by Pauly Shore. No, the
That's
scene,
another tearjerker. Do the perfect cast, Dad.
Oh no, that's like right.
All
up there
the
with
kids
Fill
about
the
to break
Dreams.
up. Dave's about to break up right there. All I had to do was mention it.
I don't know,
Peel.
just the scenes with Richard Pryor kind of like firing up the machine for the first time, causing chaos, like traffic is messing up, so much so that the little people on Stop and Go like became animated and having a duke out fight. But also probably my favorite bit of all time from this movie was the one scene which I mentioned I think last week, was Superman's drunk. Like just where he kind of goes off the rails, has a few at a bar.
The bystanders are pointing it out too, like in real time. They're like, Superman's drinking.
Yeah.
Superman's drunk. See, he's given up. He's completely given up.
And that always stuck with me, and I mean it didn't disappoint this time either. That's this is easily the best bit in the whole movie. I mean, that's not to speak ill of the rest of it, but yeah, that's like the diamond right there. What about you, John?
I got like 4, so here we go. I love Gus Gorman as a character, but I really love Richard Pryor, so he does another good job in this movie. If you want to find him in other things, check out Bustin' Loose, Brewster's Millions, or Moving. Those are all good. Those are in like my top 5 of his movies. Let's see. I'd already said it feels like a Richard Pryor movie with Superman as like a supporting character. So, but I have no problems with that. The fight between the good and bad Superman, I love that sequence. I think it's really cool. And that's something that like, you would see like maybe in a modern superhero movie, but the fact that they did it already in this one, they set the course. That's pretty cool. I like the computer stuff. And then I thought like the first sign that he changed attitudes, that he might be a bad Superman, was, as you said, to knock over the Leaning Tower of Pizza. Like, even I said it. I Pisa. But they don't. It's not just like he knocks it over. There's a guy there whose job is to sell to tourists little figurines, and he can't sell them because they knock it over, and then they fix it at the end of the movie, so then he can't sell the new ones because he straightened them out with those little toy models he's selling. But like the bad Superman does like rip open an oil rig and cause like an oil spill. So that's one horrible thing. He doesn't do many real horrible things. Like, so for him just to push over just to straighten the tower out as like the first sign that he's bad, I just thought was like zany, but for some reason I like it. And it's cool that the evil sister gets turned into the cyborg, because people debate whether or not that was supposed to be like a famous character from the Superman comics. Like there's Brainiac, but Brainiac's an alien computer, so they don't think it's him. Or Cyborg, which is like a cybernetic version of Superman. But the character Vera gets turned into a robot, right? Like the supercomputer at the end doesn't want to. It has like AI recognition or something. It is somehow aware of Superman. I don't know exactly, but the machine like grafts itself to her skin, and then she becomes like the final boss fight in this movie, right? So I always like that. But when it was on TV when I was a kid, when you were just flipping through channels, the scenes that I would watch the movie for is the opening that Jordan was talking about, where you see like the little penguins walk by, and then they knock over this, and then the paint gets spilled, and then this person trips. and then somehow they hit the fire hydrant or whatever, and then like the car's filling with water, and then Superman has to step involved, like all this stuff. So if you turn that on, you like kind of sit through it, especially if you're a kid. And then the other thing was the computer scene, like flipping through channels. The other scene that would catch me is when Richard Pryor is complaining about the computer paychecks and then starts messing around with the digits, and like, you know what I mean? Like he's like conning the computer company, and no one catches on until later. So, I mean,
what's funny is like if you think about it, like he went like Richard Pryor like basically got put through the ringer by the main bad guy because over $85,000, which was a lot of money back then and is now. But I'm like, at what point we're like, all right, you know what, jail is better than this, or you know, like it just felt like they really had him up against the wall for not that much money compared to what damage they ended up doing.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the script existed before they cast Richard Donner, or not Richard Donner. That's the guy who directed the other movie.
Richard Pryor.
Pryor. Like 2 Richards are involved with Superman. Sorry. Misstep. Richard's on my mind. I don't know how much was there before Pryor got there and how much they made up as they went along. Because it feels like it's one of those situations where they're kind of like rewriting a script or writing a script to tailor for the actor. Yeah. So basically, almost every scene is like setting him up for his bits that he wants to do, right? Like in the computer room, it's like, you know, how many taxes are you going to take out of a working man's check? You know what I mean? The movie starts with one of his older comedy bits where you're dealing with the unemployment office. He was supposedly like a Johnny Carson interview, and I tried to find the footage, but I couldn't find it, where he's like just talking about how much he likes the Superman movie. Like it's just Richard Pryor himself on Johnny Carson talking about like, and then, you know, he zips over here and he zips over here and he's got his cape. And they kind of reenact that when he's at the, that's what I was going to write down. My favorite scene is the skiing. I forgot to write it down. So in this spoiler alert, he skis down the side of a building. And here's where, this is what splits the audience. People that take Superman movies very seriously, and at the time and even now, they can't abide somebody skiing down the side of a building. But if you're involved in like Richard Pryor comedy and you just like the fun of the movie and you're on this fun adventure, you love the idea that he skis down the side of a building at some point after describing what it's like to be around Superman, right? And how Superman saves the day. Then he was on Johnny Carson talking about Part 2. So like he's clearly in real life, he's like a Superman fan, right? Then he gets cast in a Superman movie. I mean, okay, but if I'm being harsh, I would say they don't give his character a lot of redeeming qualities. He is basically Gus from the beginning to the end, you know?
Yeah, it seems like by accident he like gets to the next level of being a criminal, you know, like kind of stumbles into it and then he gets roped in more and more and more. It doesn't really like consciously know. He knows he's working for someone who's not great because he stole a bunch of money from him, but you know, he finds himself in a bad position, but that's what makes it so funny.
Yeah, he's going with the flow. That's his, you know, the Gus Gorman guide to life. Is just go with it, like, and then claim that it's on purpose, kind of, you know.
I completely forgot about the unemployment office because that whole scene was hilarious. Just like his excuses for like why he had to like leave the restaurant job, and I don't know. I thought it was
well. That sounds like a stand-up bit too. Like you can't remember the pickles, or they don't want the pickles, or they don't want the bun. You know, it's like setting up a punchline.
It was like how the whole script was. That's why I thought that the like language between, you know, Clark Kent and, you know, his little lady friend Lana, like it kind of, it's like a punchline and then it leads into a completely other like separate conversation, or it's like banter back and forth. I thought it was just clever and kind of cute, but
I'm afraid to ask the ratings because gosh, you know, like I'm an advocate for people having to watch Superman 3. And in fact, I took a chance going, I'm not even sure if you guys have seen Superman 1 and 2. And I'm like, and then like, if you're expecting to see a Superman movie, it's barely a Superman movie. It's definitely a Richard Pryor movie. But Christopher Reeve is a badass Superman. And so it's like, I wouldn't want to like ruin anybody's opinion of 1 and 2 based on 3. But like, I want more people to see this movie. I don't think enough people have probably seen it.
The ratings, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a binge out for me. I thought it was hilarious.
Nice.
I liked it. Definitely something if you want to watch something early 80s. This kind of takes the cake, gives you all the vibes. What about you, Dave?
I definitely dug the early 80s vibes. But it is a binge later for me. I enjoyed it. It's not going to be the first. I'm not a big Superman fan in general, so I don't hate it, but it's not my go-to. So, and this would not be the first one I go to, but if it's on somewhere, I will sit and watch it for a few. So binge later for me.
Okay, I think
John just closing his eyes, absorbing that, like, don't murder, don't murder.
Dave had a mischievous look on his face, and I wasn't sure. He looked disappointed in Jordan's score, and so I thought he was going to hit us with a binge never. So I was really worried. It's obviously a binge now for me. So I recommend it before Superman 1 and 2, largely for Richard Pryor's performance.
It's definitely the most standalone of that first.
And also Annette O'Toole, who, like, you know, her Lana Lang character is incredible. But there's another comedian hiding in there too. The girl who plays the
Lorelai.
So she's a BBC actor, and she's in a sketch comedy thing with Rowan Atkinson called Not the 9 O'Clock News, which is like I don't know how many. Probably had one season, but anyway, what is her name?
I got IMDb right
like
here.
Sophia,
Pamela Stevenson.
Oh, yeah, Pamela Stevenson. Thanks for saving me. She's the main female lead on that sketch comedy show, and so there you go. Look that up, folks. It's good.
I thought her role was hilarious because she had her like few moments, like strokes of genius.
Well, she's secretly intelligent. She's like a secret genius pretending to be a bimbo, and she hooks up with Superman, the bad one, anyway.
She does, yeah.
Like, he ditches his high school girlfriend and goes all the way with the corporate dude's side chick? I don't know, main chick? I mean, because clearly the bad guy's in love with his sister. They got some weird relationship going on. Kind of ignores this girl, Lorelai, the whole movie. And then she's like, hey, Superman, did you go bad? You're damn right. Like, you know. The only thing they cut was them smoking cigarettes afterwards.
But you knew.
But I mean, like, we all agree. Like, they had sex, right? I mean, like, they clearly they're about to.
Dude, cigarettes is movie speak for it happened.
Well, they even include cigarettes in the kryptonite. That's how we got here. Is they made fake kryptonite and it didn't go well because they added tar. You know, kryptonite usually just kills them, like radioactive poison, but this one splits them into two personalities. There's a bunch of kryptonites in the comic books. They do all kinds of things. There's one that makes him rage like the Hulk. Even though that's a completely different comic book universe, I'm just saying he gets that angry and that powerful. There's another one. What does it do? I don't know. There's like 4 different kryptonites, maybe more by now. They kept coming up with the kryptonites. You know what I mean? For storytelling purposes, whatever. Anyway, just fucking watch Superman 3. I don't know. This episode's
on HBO Max. Watch it before it goes away. Although no, the DC stuff I think is pretty safe.
I don't know about that, Dave. They canceled Batgirl. That's DC.
Yeah, but that's something that was not done yet. I don't think they're gonna toss away their old Supermans. But...
Oh, we got a 5-star rating this week, folks, and it just said we have all the best sounds. I was like, we do. Yeah. We do have all the best sounds. Concur.
We do have the best
all
sounds.
In one all in one place. All the best sounds.
I mean, that's a tagline if I've ever heard one.
I know, right? Like, I'm gonna make a trailer out of this guy's review because it says all the fun stuff, 5 stars. This show talks about cult classics. It has all the fun sounds. The hosts get massively nerdy about the funniest nerdy things. You go from zombies to werewolves to Terminator in a few sentences. How could that not be amazing? 3 question marks. Like, yeah, that should be our tagline. Like, that's wonderful.
I feel like we have to sneak in a conversation about all 3 somewhere in each episode, or at least one. We've mentioned werewolves, so we're solid on this one.
You know what? I'll write back to this fan. This comes from LinkedIn. I really got to start pumping us out on LinkedIn because they're starting to pay attention. I'll have to write to this dude and say, hey, do you want a Top Gun 2? We'll send you a Top Gun 2.
Yeah.
It doesn't have zombies or werewolves, but it does have... Well,
I don't know, Dave.
Tom Cruise keeps going on. I don't know.
At the end of Top Gun 2, there's a full moon scene, David. Oh my God, David.
Well, I mean, just like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, maybe we'll have a Top Gun.
Top
Zombies.
Moon? What a great parody movie that would be.
Something like
Dude,
that.
I
don't
want
know.
to see that. I can hear Danger Zone going, like the lid of the ship going down, a hairy arm putting its thumbs up.
Could be something like
It sells
that.
itself.
Someone needs to just pay us to make a werewolf
Top
movie
werewolf.
already. We're ready to go. We got so many plot lines. You know what? You ought to make them link together. You know your Wolfman Spring Break? Like, at the end of that movie, you should have a jet fly over past the moon. And then it says coming soon. Top moons. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, you're going to have a volleyball scene under the moonlight.
Oh, man.
Ooh, yes. Okay.
It's getting good.
Although you're going to go through a lot of balls when you're trying to spike with claws.
Yeah, I'm just imagining all of the swim trunks being just ripped off bodies.
That's got to be on the poster. Like, right underneath the title, like, this movie went through a lot of balls. You know? Like, man.
It could just be called, just go simple, call it Full Moon Maverick. Or, because I don't know what the Top Gun equivalent of werewolves would be other than Full Moon. You go Full Moon?
I mean, that's the high stakes is, can you complete the mission before you turn into a complete werewolf? Werewolves can't fly planes, David. like,
these ones can.
Crash. No, these ones can't.
Well, that's how you make Full Moon. You got to be the best of the best.
The best werewolf.
I mean, we have had werewolf soldiers, so I don't see why they couldn't fly planes.
Yeah. Why can't they go in the air? We trust
Get a copyright infringement notice from the Dog Soldiers creator. Like, hey, that's happening in the sequel.
Hey, look, let's be real. If they're going to come after us, they're like, look, we're not trying to put you out, but we want in.
That's good. What a positive way to end it. On a movie about werewolves and volleyball.
Oh, man.
What do you think, David?
What do I think? I think we need to find the funding.
You can have the audience pay for it.
Sure. Start a Kickstarter. Full.
I mean, so let's run this back. So sweaty volleyball werewolves and jets, werewolves on the beach. Did I miss anything?
Oh, you got to have the motorcycle scene at least.
The really long.
Yeah, where he's like riding the motorcycle along the jetway, doing tricks. You got to have
as a werewolf.
Yeah, because of course when he's popping wheelie, he could also be howling at the moon at the same time. It writes itself. It writes itself.
The makeout montage, the like overextended makeout montage
with a werewolf,
but with werewolves.
Look, if any producers out there are listening to this and thinking we have gold, we will.
Dude, the Sci-Fi Channel is writing this as fast as they can right now while listening to this. The four guys.
That's what I'm saying. You need to contact host at Binge-Watchers, Binge-Watch BW Podcast if you want to get in on this.
What were we gonna say?
I think that's the first time Jordan got a comedic cut off.
Did she get a?
You know, I deserve it. I was just saying, send in your submissions to HR, which is Frank at bwpodcast.com. Just
ask for money as well. Send a check for $13.95.
Yeah, we want more than catnip.
Catnip and cash, or catnip or cash, to Frank. We're gonna have to actually put him on the show one day. Somebody's gonna be like, "Where is he?"
Yeah, for sure. He's down to clown.
All right.